It is 8:30 on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. I will call the regular meeting of the Environment and Land Use Committee to order. We'll do a roll call of members. Klein is absent. Waldera.
Here.
Andy Todd is absent for the moment, at least. Munson.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Severson.
Here.
Nelson, you here. I certify that open meeting law requirements have been met with proper posting. We have a 13-item amended agenda. I'd look for a motion to
approve.
adopt.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Has everyone had a chance to read through the minutes from our April 5th meeting? Any corrections or additions?
Motion to approve, and then I have an item.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Discussion?
On page 5, about 8 lines up. Let's see if I can find it again here.
How many lines is it?
I think it was 8 lines up.
From the bottom?
From the bottom, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Franzen stated 2 feed trucks a year. Shouldn't that be 2 feed trucks a week?
Yes.
Probably, yes.
And the eggs are going out every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yes. Yep.
That sounds right.
So that year needs to be changed to week is,
Yeah, okay.
Yep,
I'll make a
okay.
motion. Oh, yeah, right here. Okay, it's right on the bottom line.
so,
Okay.
is that
Okay.
just that way, or do you need official
I
motion?
think that should work with that change.
Yep, okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So next thing on our agenda is we have a public hearing for a conditional use permit for a home business accessory of online auctions for Matthew S. Slobby, landowner petitioner, Independence, Wisconsin, and the town of Burnside. So I will call the public hearing to order. And if anyone wishes to call and offer any public comment, you can call 715-538-1894. And Randy, do you have the call?
Yes. Notice of public hearing, conditional use permit for a home business accessory. There will be a public hearing held before the Trumpealeau County Environment and Land Use Committee on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023 at 8:35 a.m. in the County Boardroom Courthouse, 36245 Main Street, Whitehall, Wisconsin. The purpose is to consider a conditional use permit for a home business accessory, being online auctions. The location is the northeast 1/4 of the northeast 1/4, section 23, township 22 north, range 9 west, in the town of Burnside, Trumpealeau County, Wisconsin. The parcel number listed. Hearing is requested by Matthew S. Slobby, Independence, Wisconsin, owner petitioner. Your attendance and comments are encouraged at this hearing. If you are unable to attend and have any questions, please call Mark Carlson with the Department of Land Management at 715-538-1919 or email to mark.carlson@county-trempealeau, Wisconsin, U.S. If you are unable to attend and desire to submit a written comment, please send your written comments to the Department of Land Management, P.O. Box 67, Whitehall, Wisconsin, 54773, or email to mark.carlson@county-trempealeau, Wisconsin. Please know that written comments will be read at the public hearing up to 250 words. All written comments must include the name and address of its author. Any special interest groups or expert witnesses will be allowed 20 minutes to give a presentation and must register at least 1 week prior to the meeting date by calling Mark Carlson of the Department of Land Management at 715-538-1919. Sincerely, Mark Carlson, Zoning and Sanitary Specialist.
All right, thank you, Randy. Next, again, if anyone wishes to offer comment on this from home, they can call 715-538-1894. Mark, anything special to
This was brought
add?
to our attention on what activity is going on. We don't have anything that specifically addresses this type of business, but blanket way we deal with this with the home business accessory. He would meet the requirements. He's got ample parking and all that sort of stuff there. He's got plenty of gravel space around this building and all that, and, we just felt that, you know, we had to address it because of, it was brought to our attention, and it was, we considered it a home business accessory. And I got a letter from the town of Burnside. We posted it, no comments. I got no letters, no phone calls, no emails from anybody from the public, and nobody's had any input on it whatsoever.
Okay. Again, if anyone wishes to offer comment from home, they should call 715-538-1894, the number on the screen. And so do we have a letter from the town?
Yes. What's that?
Oh,
Matt Slobby appeared before the Town of Burnside Board of Supervisors at their January 11th meeting regarding his conditional use permit for commercial use at his property. The Town of Burnside has no objection to the consideration of a conditional use permit at his current property for an online auction business. Sincerely, Melissa Kono, Town Clerk, Town of Burnside.
okay, thank you. And Matthew, anything to add, or pretty well straightforward? Okay. Having not heard the phone ring, I'm going to close the public hearing at 8:37 and entertain a motion from the committee.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion, okay, made and seconded. Any further discussion, questions?
I do just have a question.
Ms.
I am asking this question because I do not know, not because I necessarily have concerns, but I am wondering, when it comes to businesses and properties, if there is any responsibility from the county end in ensuring that the properties are not having a lot of things on them that are an eyesore, potentially. I'm just curious if there's any responsibility on our end for that, or if that goes back to the township, I would assume.
No, part of the home business accessory is, you know, the lion's share or most all of the business should be conducted out of the accessory building. You know, there might be some outside storage in his case with pickups and all that sort of stuff. So we do kind of keep an eye on those types of things, you know, and that's for the business part of it, you know. Say someone has some stuff on their own sitting around, you know, there is some criteria, they gotta have X amount of vehicles, you know, more than 5. We could address it, you know, the county does address it in that way only. There's requirements for parking, which he's got that. You know, and then you can't have outside storage is addressed, but in this type of business, I think, you know, it would be okay to have some of the stuff outside for people to come and pick it up, you know, and
For sure.
we've never really had anything with this type of business, and it is a conditional use. You know, the only thing with conditional uses, like say some neighbors would have called and been concerned about, say Sundays or something, you know, we could have said no Sunday pickups, or people can't come in there and pick stuff up, but since none of that stuff was brought up, I don't think we really need to limit that either at this point, you know, so.
Sure.
Okay, I'd really just wanted to understand our level of responsibility, if any, in that
Sure.
regard.
Very good. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I'm just a little confused on the lines on that man. Why does the line angle back in and not include the driveway out?
Well, I don't,
It's a survey.
that's just the way it was surveyed, or the way it was described in the description of the property, I guess, that's,
Is there an easement then to the driveway?
I'm not aware of an easement there. I guess I didn't really research the parcel itself, you know, we're just discussing the use of what he wants to do on there.
Sure. Interesting. It is. It's a very
Yeah, I mean,
odd
there's
thing.
all kinds of weird shaped parcels out there, but I
Yeah.
mean, it would make more sense if it was squared up, because then his driveway would be on, but it might be just something as a simple, you know, description problem, and the line was, you know, described differently, that's why the line was drawn that way, but.
Sure.
That's all speculation.
Granted, with this conditional use, so we're not rezoning. If we were rezoning, there'd be an issue with driveway access, correct?
Potentially.
Yeah, they would have to find,
Probably
yeah, the
doable.
rezone would be described too, and it would be
Right.
drawn out.
Right, yep.
That little blob would be,
Yeah.
Um,
Andy?
And maybe this would be addressed in zoning and not conditional use, but potentially he could end up with parking for his business on somebody else's land.
Yeah, I mean, most of this, I mean, the building that's up that he's got is, it's this parking, you can just see the gravel of it on the picture, you know? I would assume everything's kind of down near that, you know, I don't think anything's up here unless he's got a humongous amount of people in a train or a waiting line to come and get some stuff, but
Yeah.
I would say that that's, if there's a defect in that line, that's something that has to be addressed separately, and that would be with himself, you know, and
Yep.
The other thing, just a question, this is strictly for, I'll call it the paperwork end of business. This is not going to be items sitting there to be viewed, or is it?
well, my understanding of online auction is they see the stuff online, you know, then they buy it and then they come and get it.
But sometimes they're at the place and then sometimes like.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
they bring
I mean,
things
this,
in.
I believe, well, he can add any time, but I think a lot of it's online and they view it online and pick it up. A lot of the auctions nowadays, even the
Yeah.
ones that you see where people used to stand around and bid
Yeah.
on stuff are all online now.
Yeah.
But they can come and look at it, you know.
Yeah, they
I
can look
don't-
at it at the properties, but I'd be concerned if this would develop into 20 pieces sitting there because they had no place else to set it during the storage or that sort of thing. Is that?
I think if something becomes an issue with too much outside stuff, I'll discuss it with Matt.
Okay.
Seems reasonable.
Okay, yep.
Any other questions from the committee? Comments?
I was wondering if Matt has anything he'd like to say. No, yes, no, okay.
Okay, all right, so, hearing nothing, I am gonna call a vote. All in favor of approving this conditional use permit, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You have a conditional use permit. So, our next item on agenda is a postponed item from our February 1st, 2023 meeting. Public hearing for conditional use permit for a new telecommunications tower from Janice E. Fink, Dale Fink agent, Arcadia. Do we have an update on that? I know. Mark, any update on the cell tower?
Well, I haven't had any discussion with the cell tower owner, or applicant, I should say. The latest thing I did was I put up a fire number sign, and the neighbor came out and talked to me. And
I
I
saw
stressed
you-
to him that this
I
is
saw
not an
you.
approval, this is just me putting up the sign, you know, because I haven't.
Right.
We can always take it down later if something becomes an issue, but I guess, you know, I don't know if we need to talk that, you know, sooner or later, maybe we should just not keep bringing it back, make him come back, you know,
And approach this when
and I
they're ready?
guess I'd rather not decide that today. I'd like to talk with the cellular guy first to say, hey, if you don't get this resolved before the next meeting, we're gonna just
Pull it off our
recommend that it gets
agenda.
pulled off and
Yeah.
it gets, I don't know if we call it denied, but it will be pulled off and be done. you know,
Whatever,
and-
we'll figure out the
Pulled
correct
off for
legal.
lack of action and they have
And
to
then,
start over.
Yeah,
because that way, you know, he can go back, they can go back to the town, because there was some thoughts that things weren't handled correctly at the town for some reason or another, and
sure.
they can go through all them channels again.
Start their process
And start all
again.
over again,
Yeah.
you know, but I guess that's kind of how I feel about it.
I think that seems like a fair.
Motion to postpone this for one more month until the June meeting.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Tony. Don?
Did I understand, though, that what you're looking for is to take it off the agenda and have them come back, or you want to have a conversation first?
Before.
Well, I
we
want
do
to
that.
tell them that that's what's going to happen. You know, I'd rather be nice enough to
Okay.
just tell them, hey, this
Just
is what we're going to
courtesy.
do. If you don't
Right.
get this stuff figured out, which they probably ain't gonna, because it's kind of out of their hands too, you know, it's more of a
Certainly.
legal thing with the family. And I don't necessarily think they'll have a problem with that, but I guess I'd kind of like to just forewarn them a little bit and.
Yep.
Perfect.
Seems fair. All right, all in favor of postponing again till the June meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We will revisit that in June, hopefully move forward in some sort of fashion. Next item is our county conservationist.
Contest in Wisconsin right after UW Platteville, so that's pretty special, I think. So some of our partners that we worked with was NRCS. They were the soil scientists that were judging the pits as they were being dug, and they also helped us set up the pits as well and the scorecards. So the pits were located on upland, so like on the hills and the knolls, as well as also bottomland. Some were on the wood edges too, to get different soil textures, soil structures, as well as different landscapes. So there's 4 pits dug out, and then there's 1 test pit. The students judged the soil structure, texture, soil profiles. They also looked at the characteristics of the soil, and also looked at soil limitations to decide what would be the best land use practice for those pits. They also looked at land capability classes, see if any are sustainable for crop production. They also determined conservation practices, so if that specific pit needed buffers, pasture land, cover crops. They also looked at invasive species as well that were in that marked area for them to judge. And they also looked at non-agricultural land use, so based on the soil structure, texture, where it was located on the landscape, if they could have houses with basements there, septic tanks, absorption fields, local roads, streets, driveways. So it was just a big comprehensive judging contest, and they looked at a lot of different factors. So the winners were, for the senior individual, first place was Dustin Klinecki, second place was Zachary Conkle, and third place was Connor Waltzine. They are all from Arcadia. The junior individuals was Caleb Prajinski from Arcadia, Jada Schmidt from GET, Carson Wozni from Arcadia, and the first place team junior division was Arcadia, and first place team senior was Arcadia. So it was really good, and the students were very excited to be out there to learn a lot about soils as well. The next thing on our agenda is tree and shrub. Our pickup is Thursday, 2 p.m. through 6 p.m., and Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and this will be at the Closs Shelter at Petrick Park. There are a few bundles left of red pines. Also, we do have our projects going, and they are being bid out, so we are on a roll with that and working with Pete Werzer from our area DADCAP engineer with designing, and now we're finally moving off to the bidding phases of our project, and we're going to start seeing construction here in the next couple months, so we're moving right along.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you further explain the project that we're moving along on?
Yeah, so we have about, I'd say 18 projects, is that correct, Haley? Roughly. So we have grade stabilization projects. We also have 2 stream bank projects, and we have grass waterways as well. So there's about 18 of those going on.
Yeah, I saw I don't want to sound silly, but I did read the actual plan for the year. I just wasn't sure what you were specifically having bid out, or if it's just all of it.
Well, yeah, it's just, as they're getting designed and they're ready to go, then we just bid them out as we finish the design and have the landowners approve. And so right now we are bidding out stream bank and a grade stabilization project. So that's what and grass waterway. So that's our 3 that we have right now. Then they'll just keep on going as we move along.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Very good. Exciting to have the land judging contest back. I remember it from high school, so
Yeah, and we plan to
it's a
keep
big
having
deal.
it in the future too.
good. Good to have it back.
And we, this is Charmaine's last meeting. She did accept a position with another agency. We know it's, she'll be working closer to her passion, where her passion is. But we really do thank her for her time here, and she's helped she's taken the office conservation in the areas we haven't gone before, especially with Trempealeau Lake. So we'll continue, that initiative will continue as we go forward.
Very good.
Well,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you all. Yeah, it's really great working with Trempealeau County, and yeah, I had a really great experience working with you guys and landowners and also the staff, so it's been a really positive experience.
It's good to hear.
So did the grant go through for the Trempealeau County, or the Trempealeau River, all that?
Trempealeau
Did
Lakes.
we get the resolution passed and everything
Trempealeau
is moving forward?
Yep, so the grant was accepted and awarded to us on March 15th of this year. So yep, it is a 2-year-long grant. So we do have that for the Trempealeau Lakes.
Very good.
Yep.
I would just like to say that I hope the fire you lit with your time here stays ignited.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We will certainly miss Charmaine,
Yeah.
but we will move forward and continue on with the work. Next, we have our cost share payment request. Discussion, possible action. Haley has
Gotta
some
move the
numbers
mic
for us.
closer. I'm, too short for that. So, okay. So, we have one this month. I almost said year. That would have been wrong. So we have the NOD project, which is Notice of Discharge. It's been an ongoing project here. So, do it in phases. So, I don't know if you guys, I think you have it in front of you. So the payment here is going to be for the Brian Olson project going towards SVL contracting for the total of $76,925.66. And that is for the R17 code, which is the DNR code of the Milk House Center Waste Control System. So that is the next step that we were all working on, and that has been completed for that part of that project. So that included piping, building, agitator pump, well pump, concrete excavation, and so forth. So that's where that total is coming from. That's a 90-10 cost share rate. And I think that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions on that payment request?
Any questions from the committee for that? I think we need a motion to approve that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Anyone wish to make a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to approve.
Caldera, second by Larson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
We'll get them paid. Next on the agenda is our Department of Land Management Director Operations Report.
With Charmaine leaving, I'm working with Human Resources to get that position posted, so that should be posted soon. The fiscal manager's position closes sometime in the next week or so, but that's been posted. So we're hoping we get a good candidate pool. So those things are going forward. Last week, I attended the Towns Association meeting, and the Towns Association gave us 7 names to work on kind of the joint comprehensive planning meetings that we'll have coming up here. So I'll be working on kind of the content on that and getting those scheduled. But we got 7 people from the towns, so we'll work on the details. I did talk about the Uniform Dwelling Code input on that. I think the letters went out either Monday or Tuesday of last week or whatever. And so I mentioned that those were out there. Didn't have any comments at the Towns Association meeting and have not received anything, comments via email or phone to date. At least I haven't. So, but we'll continue to reach out or listen to the towns, villages, and cities regarding.
Yeah, that email went out Tuesday, day of towns, so, and I assume nobody's had their board meetings yet, so when
Right.
they come, you'll start getting information back.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Anything else
That's it.
on yours? Okay. Next, future agenda items. Anything that needs to come before the committee for discussion? Oh, sorry, Mark. I was looking this way.
We got some terms coming up for BOA,
Okay.
and one of them said she would do it again. One of them said she doesn't want to do it anymore. So, and then, and I do have a name that threw their name in the hat, but I guess if anybody, and we kind of want to get some centrally located townships, because we do got representation from the northern and the southern. So like, say, Arcadia, Preston, Burnside, Chimney Rock, Lincoln, or Pigeon, if anybody knows anybody in that area that'd be willing to be on the BOA, give me a name, or give us a name, and if they have any questions,
Board of
give me a call. But it's like pulling teeth to get somebody to volunteer to do it, but
What is the work involved in
it's
that?
like, when we have a variance, like, say someone can't meet the setbacks to a road or a property line, they ask for a variance, to the ordinance. The state say they can't build it any closer, further away from the road because there's septic systems behind the house, or there's a creek or a road. It's pretty limited, they shouldn't be granting variances just because someone wants to do something a certain way, but if they can't possibly try to meet the ordinance, then they look for a variance. And then the Board of Adjustment is an appointed committee that hears that and grants or denies variances.
How often does that committee meet
It's
then?
as little as possible, lately it's been like 1 or 2 a year. We kind of try to steer them in a different direction when they come in and say, hey, you can apply for a variance, but what about this spot over here? That's probably what they would deny the variance and say, no, you can build it over here, instead of wanting to build it too close to the road, or, it's pretty limited. We only had a few a year at the very best lately.
Why does that not just come to this committee?
That's just the way it's set up. Some counties, they are granted through the, the Land Conservation or Zoning Committee, but this county, it's a Board of Adjustment thing. I think it's kind of a spread,
It's statewide state statutes.
It's required.
Yeah.
thing.
well, it's
Kind of-
required to be granted by somebody, so, but I mean, that's,
It's okay to have fresh eyes on things. Oh,
The rules are set up by state statute. They meet on an as-needed basis. And one of the criteria is that they have to be from different towns. So that's why Mark listed off the towns that he did, because those are people that, we don't have representatives from those towns.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it is by state statute, and their terms are 3 years.
Okay.
Do we seek candidates in any way, shape, or form, other than just kind of by word of mouth?
we haven't advertised or anything like that, but mostly word of mouth, and then maybe committee members can word of mouth, but
We can do it.
we could social media or announce it, but we haven't done that in the past. So.
We could put something on our Facebook page.
I mean, worst case scenario, you get a lot of candidates. And is that a bad thing? Maybe for Mark.
Let me see the names first. Because there probably are, it takes, the ones that we have on there right now have been on there forever. They got a pretty good working rapport, and they know what they got to do, they know what they can't do. And it's kind of nice to have a little bit of experience, people that done zoning, like the candidate that expressed interest has been on committees and on township level stuff before, so they know that. You don't have to, and it's got to be somebody that understands. We just don't grant them because somebody wants them. There's always got to be a reason. They got to meet a criteria of, they can't be detrimental to public health, which that one's generally never a problem. And there's like size limitations, a lot of the site limitations is what it is, but I don't care who goes on it, but I guess it's just a matter of, and like I said, we don't meet very often.
Yeah.
We try to not meet as little as possible.
Okay, makes sense. So, do you think we should put it on Facebook, get it out?
I don't know, I feel like offering an opportunity for people who maybe don't have knowledge is okay too.
Well, yeah,
Because that's how
fine.
they gain knowledge. If they can be on a committee with somebody who is knowledgeable and gain that knowledge, then you're continuing to have that generational.
No, yeah, that's fine. I mean, people don't have to have any experience, it's just a matter of, and if they don't, I'll be down there and the rest of the committee members are there to kind of help steer the process,
More people we can get interested in any.
Yeah, I
way,
think,
shape,
I
or
agree with
form is a
that,
good-
because, Yeah, the same old isn't necessarily always the best, it's nice to have different inputs.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that could happen is that you could get a lot of interest, although I don't think that will happen.
I'd be surprised, but I guess more power to it. But-
You could be getting none out of it, you don't know.
I think it would be a good thing to
We can put it out.
offer it out there.
I think we
It don't
could.
hurt, I mean, I guess we've never gone down that route before, just because I'm not Facebook, whatever, but I guess, it definitely is an avenue to take instead of,
Something to try.
I mean, I haven't made a million phone calls, but the ones I have, they told me to get lost, basically, so. Part of it is meeting during the day, and part of it is, even though they seem to have all the answers, they don't want to make the decisions, I guess, when it comes
Sure.
right down to it.
Well, I think it'd be good to put it on, but also have that on there so that, that the meetings are day meetings and, approximately.
They've always been, the committee made the decision to have their meetings at 1:30. I think it's the third Wednesday of the month is what they can have them anytime, but that was determined at a meeting, that was to be the meeting dates and times, kind of like our committee meetings are the first Wednesday at 8:30 now. They just decided at 1:30, the third Wednesday of the month was when we would schedule it. We actually got one coming up here this month, so.
So I think it'd be good to include the area that we're looking for a candidate from, and then also the requirements, even though that could be revisited once they're on the committee.
I mean, they can always
There's no
contact our
guarantees.
department or
Ask
if they have any questions
too.
on it and how it works.
Yep, that would be fair. I think that would be a good way to move forward.
He's an alternate.
Wrong area.
Wrong area.
And he's the one that it's always been called when we need an alternate. He's coming on front. And we do have an alternate that needs to be replaced too, and she hasn't responded back to me as far as her interest to stay on it, so.
Sure. Okay. Do we need a motion, or I think you can just move forward with
I don't
that?
think so. I think we
Yeah.
can just
Okay,
go from there. But I'd probably try to get it taken care of at the June, because they do expire at the end of June.
okay, so hope.
Like Sharon Spar is willing to do it again, that'd be an easy one to renew, and then the other one that decided not to, there is somebody that is willing to do it, and then we would probably be looking for the alternate. We're looking for the alternate and an open spot, and plus Sharon's spot if they chose not to renew her, I guess, would be.
Sure.
So, but I guess if they're willing to stay on, and she's only been on it for one term, I believe, or maybe
She's
two. but-
relatively new.
So it's not like, and the ones that are on there right now have been on there for many terms.
Sure. Well, new blood is good.
Except for the
too.
one that don't want to do it anymore, one was enough for her.
One and done. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. We'll add that to the June meeting then. Anything else we need to tackle in the future? Hearing nothing, our next meeting is set up for Wednesday, June 7th.
I was just thinking as far as future, did we decide that June was the meeting we were gonna discuss further the inspection situation?
Oh, UDC stuff?
UDC stuff, didn't we decide that was gonna be in the June meeting?
Yeah, we could,
I mean,
yeah. I don't know how much input we'll get by then, but, we can have that on the agenda.
okay, just a thought.
Yep.
I was gonna look here. Do you know if you're gonna go to the highway convention?
Yes.
I think we get done on Wednesday. So that was I think we may need to look at a different date for June. Some options we could move to Thursday, or it doesn't matter to me. I don't have strong feelings. Wednesday the 14th, just move it back 1 week. What works for everybody?
That works for me.
Do I move it back? I can, yeah. Just somebody throw a date out, we can run with it.
Do you have to worry about the room?
Check on a pending availability of, pending availability of the county boardroom, I guess we'll look at June 14th. We can move it to January too, that's fine. Let's put things on hold for a few months. Okay,
Yeah, right now, we could move to Thursday, right after the next day might be better.
that's also an option for me, so, I mean, other people in the group?
Depends on when Verge can get the room, I guess.
Yep.
Correct.
That's,
Mostly because I can't remember what's happening the next week.
Okay, so we'll move forward, we're gonna shoot for the 8th then as Plan A.
So Thursday, June 8th is the first choice?
Yep. And 8:30, stick with our normal time.
Yep.
And Plan B, we'd move to the 14th.
Yep.
Okay? And I don't have anything else on the agenda today, so with that, I will adjourn at 9:07. Thank you, everyone.